Hey guys, it's Katie, and today I'm going to be doing a video that I don't necessarily want to do, but I feel like I have to do. Because, I'm just so tired of everyone saying, oh, this is why you dropped out. You only dropped out because of this. And it's like people trying to tell my story when in reality they didn't even take the time of day to listen and ask me, Katie, why did you drop out of high school? If you guys don't get this, I'm an open book. So if you just had honestly just asked me, I won't take it offensively. If you just hit me up and you're like, hey, I was just wondering, why'd you drop out of high school? I'm not going to suddenly get offended. I will genuinely tell you. I just hate when you don't even have the courtesy to do that. And when people just automatically just assume they know my whole life and my whole story. And they're like, oh, she only dropped out because of this. So I'm going to clear all of that up in this video because it comes to a point where I've just had about enough, And this is a video that people asked for, so, yep, I'm just gonna get right into it. Okay, so basically, you need some background before I just jump into it. So, the story, I guess you could say, starts in 8th grade, because that's when I started having depression. And I don't really know why. It was just this feeling of I was never good enough. And my friends were, and everyone around me was just so much better than me. And that I could never measure up to them basically. So I kind of just felt like that, and I was really down. And yeah, I could obviously tell I was depressed, but it is something I kept to myself. I only told my closest friends. So the people who were my closest friends in 8th grade, if you're watching this, you know, because I told you. So I had depression in 8th grade. I've already told them about that. It was something I was open about with them, but wasn't open about with everyone like I am right now. So basically, it started in 8th grade, and I guess from that moment on, it just never really stopped. And what makes me so mad is that everyone says that my ex-boyfriend is the reason for my depression. My ex-boyfriend is the reason I dropped out. And that's just simply not true. Because, why would I give up my education for a boy? Why would I just throw all that away over a boy? It had nothing to do with him. Now, he does kind of tie into the story, but not because anything was his fault, and not because I blame him in any way. It's not his fault. None of it was his fault, and honestly, he knows that. So, jumping back to 8th grade, it makes me so mad that it's come to this point. But, I'm just so tired of people saying that, oh, I never had depression before. So, I dug up my old journal, and I used to write everything in my journal in 8th grade. And I'm just so mad that it's come to this point where I have to show, a personal journal just to, defend myself when, I shouldn't even have to defend my own story. But that's just how it is, I guess. So, basically, on January 4th, 2016, basically there's a sentence, and I'll put a screenshot of it up here. But I said, also, I told my boyfriend that was in 8th grade at the time, that he's been ignoring me lately and that I think I'm depressed again. And then he just talked about how if I have depression, he thinks we should break up, something like that. But anyway, that's proof that yes, I was writing up being depressed in January of 2016. So there's that. Now, moving to 9th grade, that's when I got my new boyfriend where I was talking about before, my ex, who everyone was like, oh, it's all his fault, he's the reason for all of it, and you just want to blame it all on him. That's not true. So, during our whole relationship, I had depression, and it's something I was very open about to him, so he always knew I had depression. It just wasn't, what's the word? It wasn't, at a point where it was, that bad, I guess. It was like manageable, basically. And throughout our relationship, like, I knew I probably should have got help. I should have went to a counselor about my depression, but I never did. And so, after we broke up, I decided to take action and kind of get help and like start my road to like wanting to get help. And so after we broke up, I went to the hospital and I told them, I'm depressed, I'm suicidal, and I want to get help. And honestly, it makes me so mad that like a hospital would do this. But they basically said, no, honey, you're not. You're just sad because of a breakup, and literally didn't even ask me why I was suicidal, didn't even ask me why I thought I was depressed, literally was just like, no, honey, you just had this breakup, like, it'll all get better, and literally gave me this, no joke, 20-minute, like, lecture about, like, boyfriends and how one day I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna meet new people and I'm gonna be so much better than I am now. And like the whole time I was just so angry because that's like not why. And if they had just asked, well, why do you think you're depressed, you know, instead of just assuming it was over my breakup, I probably would have gotten help sooner. So then, where are we at this point in time? January? So then, come late February, early March, I don't want to like say it out loud because it's really hard to like actually say it, but I ended up in the hospital and I stayed there for 6 days. And at this point, like, it shouldn't have gotten to that point. Like, they should have helped me when I came into the hospital the first time and tried asking for help. And if I'm being honest, I think they're all great doctors, but I don't think they were doing their job at that point in time. So then, I'm in the hospital for 6 days. They assign me to a counselor, and my psychiatrist starts me on Prozac. Now, while I'm in the hospital, there were people, I'm not going to name names because they know who they are, but there were people who went to school while I was in the hospital unable to even defend myself, saying, oh, like, Katie only did it for attention. She was sitting there in the hospital bed laughing when we went to visit her. She was making jokes about everything. She was talking about how she was lucky to get out of school. Like, she wasn't sad at all. So, like honestly, she just wants attention. And just the fact that I trusted these people and that's what they were saying behind my back, like, really showed me their true colors. And so when I came back to school, I was really nervous because at this point everyone knew, because my friends literally told everybody. And that's another thing. Everyone thinks that I did it for attention. I didn't want anyone to know. But they're the ones who, like, spread it around like wildfire and told false information that I was, like, joking about it and that I was saying, like, oh, I can't believe I get to get out of school. Like, I'm so lucky. Like, it's a vacation. It was not a vacation. It was certainly not a day at the beach. Like, I'll tell you that much. Basically, what they were referring to, which they took way out of context, was I was crying when they came to visit me. And they mentioned something about, like, at least you get to get out of school, right? Like, you get a little vacation. And I laughed, and I said, haha, yeah, I guess so. And yeah, I was kind of joking around, but I'm not the one who, like, started the jokes. They were the ones saying, like, oh, well, at least this, at least that. And I laughed because, yeah, they were trying to make, like, light of a dark situation. I understand that. Like, I still have a sense of humor. And I appreciated that they were, like, trying to make me feel better and trying to make me laugh, so I laughed. And just by the time I came back to school, everyone hated me. Everyone thought I just cared about attention, and honestly, no one cared about me. I could count the people that genuinely cared about me on one hand. At least the people who showed it. There could have been more people who cared about me, but they just never made an effort to reach out to me and see if I was okay. So yeah. And I go back to school for a little bit. And at this point, I've been taking Prozac for a while, and it's not really working. In fact, it was making me worse. I was 115 pounds to start out with. And by the time I stopped taking Prozac, I was 98 pounds. Which, if you can do math, that means that I lost 17 pounds. I almost forgot how many pounds it was. Yeah, I lost 17 pounds because of Prozac. And this isn't easy for me to talk about either, but like I said, this ties into why I dropped out. And so I was just tired of, like, being told everyone hates you. Like, you know that, right? Like, you know everyone hates you. I can't even count how many times people have came up to me and said that. And, like, going to school, everyone was looking at me, and, like, I could just tell they were judging me. And, like, I was getting dirty looks because obviously they think I just wanted attention. So, of course, they're going to give me dirty looks. And so I just was not in the right mental state to, like, be putting up with that. So I just stopped going to school. This was in my sophomore year, by the way. I don't even know if I mentioned that earlier. This was all in my sophomore year. So, yeah, basically, I kind of just stopped going to school, and I fell really behind with, like, work and stuff. The teachers, and especially my principal, I want to give a shout out to the principal. He was so understanding of my situation, and he was just so great to me. And, like, I am really so thankful for him because he was just so understanding, and he was probably giving me more, what's the word? More excuses than I deserved, or I can't think of the right word for it, but you guys get what I mean, you know? And so there was, like, a few days in my sophomore year where I decided I'm going to try and come to school today. So I dressed cute, and I would go to school, but then it was the same thing, dirty looks, and then people would come up to me, and they're like, everyone's talking about how you're back in school, and blah, 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 and, like, you just want attention. And then people started talking about my weight loss. And I know because a friend that I trust would tell me, like, hey, just so you know, people are saying that you, like, lost a lot of weight and you look really gross and, like, you know? And she defended me because she was like, well, what do you think? Like, she's depressed. Like, obviously she's going to be losing weight, you know? But I don't know. It's just, like, I felt like nothing I did was good enough. Like, I would come to school and try to, like, still do what I was supposed to do, but it just wasn't working. I was getting made fun of. There were rumors everywhere. People were judging my weight and, like, my weight loss, and that just was not okay for me. So I decided to just stop going altogether. Like, I didn't even go to the last day of my sophomore year. I literally just sat around in bed and moped and would sit in this room. Literally, the majority of my sophomore year I spent in this room, just not going to school. And so the summer comes. I kind of have a fun, you know, summer. And I don't remember if this was at the end of the school year or, like, the summer. I want to say this was during the summer. But I decided that I would stop counseling and stop taking Prozac. And so the reason I wanted to stop taking Prozac is because I could just tell it wasn't helping me. It was making me lose a lot of weight. It wasn't making me any happier like it was supposed to. And another thing is, like, my psychiatrist just didn't get me at all. Like, I remember at one of my appointments, I went up to my psychiatrist, and he said, like, how are you doing lately? Is the Prozac working? And I was like, no, actually, I'm losing a lot of weight. Like, people at school are saying that I look anorexic. And he, like, types something in his computer, and he pulls up this chart, and he turns the screen towards me, and he says, this is anorexic. This is you. You're not quite there yet, so they can't make fun of you for that. And it's like, just because you say they can't make fun of me doesn't mean they're not going to. They're still going to make fun of me. And my problem was that I was trying to address to him my problem with Prozac to see if we could try, like, an alternative antidepressant, something that would work better for me. And he completely ignored what I was asking for. He completely disregarded how I felt about my weight loss and how I was kind of scared for myself and scared that I was just too skinny. Like 98 pounds for a 16-year-old, that's ridiculous, okay? Like, that was not okay for me. And so he just kind of disregarded all of that, and that made me so angry. So I decided, you know what? I'm just going to be done. Maybe if I just stop Prozac and stop counseling and pretend I'm all better, it will all just go away and I'll be better. So I tried to make it go away. I quit counseling, quit Prozac, everything, like, you know? And then I thought, I'm going to go back to school for my junior year. It turned out, this is another thing. A lot of people say they gave me a second chance for my junior year. They really didn't. Like, it's not like they let me just, like, skip sophomore year. I still technically had enough credits to go into my junior year. So it's not like they gave me a free pass. Like, it's because I had enough credits, you know? So I decided I would start my junior year, and that lasted about a week or two. Until I was like, nope, can't do this. Because what I realized, and I'm not saying this is for everybody, but, like, after I quit Prozac, I felt immensely better. And yeah, I probably could have explored other antidepressants that would have worked for me, but not with that same psychiatrist. I was like, if I'm going to try anything else, it's going to be a different psychiatrist, not this guy, because he clearly doesn't care about my opinion and my concerns. So, yeah, I kind of just quit everything, and I started junior year, and then all I remember was that it, like, started in late August. My birthday is September 19th. I didn't even make it to my birthday. That's all I remember. Like, I'm not exactly sure how long. It was like a week, maybe 3, somewhere in that time period, but I didn't make it to my birthday before I was like, yeah, no. Because right as I went back to school, I could feel myself slipping back into that dark state of mind. And that just, like, wasn't okay for me. So what I decided to do ultimately, I had to make a decision for my health, my mental health, and for the sake of my family and friends and everyone who loves me, that I just had to leave. Because I could not heal myself in the same environment that broke me. I broke at school. I broke because of mean people spreading rumors and people judging me and people saying, oh, she's so skinny, she looks so gross, and people saying, oh, she just wants attention. Honestly, I did need attention. I needed attention from medical professionals who turned me away when I asked for help. So yeah, if you want to really get technical, I did need attention from doctors who could actually help me. And honestly, I don't regret dropping out of school. I really don't. I've been in such a healthier mindset since I left school. It's not for everybody. And what I want to do in life doesn't even really, you don't need a high school diploma for that. And so I chose my life, basically. And I chose getting better for my family, for my friends, and for myself. So I'm actually doing a lot better now. And yeah, I'm not going back. So for the people that ask me if I ever want to go back and get my, like, high school diploma, no. I'm completely happy with the life I have now. I'm perfectly fine getting my GED. I don't see it as, like, I don't think it's, like, shameful to drop out and get your GED, if that makes sense. I don't think you're any better if you finish high school and, like, get your diploma. I don't think that makes you, like, really any better, if that makes sense, because they're still kind of the same thing. Like, yeah, you finished high school, kudos, but, like, a high school diploma doesn't get you much more than a GED even would, because for a lot of jobs now, you really just need a GED. And to those adults, those smart-ass adults, who always tell me, you made a mistake, go back, do it again, a GED isn't good enough, that makes you look like you're a failure, go back and get your high school diploma, you're gonna regret it for life. I don't regret it. I spent a lot of my sophomore year sitting in this room, in this bed, thinking about would I really miss high school? Would it really benefit me if I stayed? Would it benefit my mental health? No, because I probably wouldn't be alive here today if I stayed in school. And I know that for a fact because I have never seen my health, my mental health drop more than when it did my sophomore year. And the second I left, it got better, and that was a sign to me that, like, if I want to get better, I can't heal in the same environment that broke me. So, yeah, I don't regret it. I'm not going back, so I hope I answered all your questions, and sorry, I just felt like this video was way overdue, and I'm tired of people trying to tell my story, so I'm getting up and I'm telling it myself, so that now, when you guys want to leave one of your mean comments saying, oh, you only dropped out because of this, blah, 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 now, I can just send you a link to this video, and then we'll be good. Yeah, and then you'll be completely informed because you neglected to even ask me, which if you did, I would have just told you straight up. So anyway, I'm glad I'm back on YouTube. I know I took kind of a break. I deleted all my videos. Sorry about that, but I'm back, I think. And I know you guys wanted this video, so I really hope you enjoy it. Sorry, I just went on blabbing for like literally 20 minutes. But I hope this helped you understand my story more and my reasons for dropping out. And, you know, it's just school's not for everybody, and it doesn't make you a failure to drop out, especially if you're doing it for your health. So, thank you guys for all your support, and I love you, and I'll talk to you next time.